about two things. One, let's talk about the folks that are moving into the county. You and I had touched on this earlier, where folks move into the county, if they're moving from California or somewhere else where they're having to travel large, well, not necessarily large distances, but have to travel long periods of time to get to work. They come here, they've got large distances, but it may actually be a shorter commute time. So what are you seeing? I think last year you mentioned that Orange County was among the top 5 folks moving in from Orange County, not only Orange County, North Carolina, but Orange County, California. So what are you seeing this year?
We're still seeing a lot of California, and then, and the sticker shock of the people moving from California to here, and it's sticker shock for the good. So there literally will sell a 1,400 square foot ranch in California for 1.2 or 1.4 million, and the amount of house that you can get in Chatham County, or what they're doing is they're buying a $600,000 or $700,000 house and they're pocketing, whatever other money they have to live quite well. But it's just they're really blown away with how much house they can get compared to what they're leaving in California. And really, the same thing we see it New Jersey and New York, and we're actually seeing quite a bit of what we call halfbacks, people that moved to Florida and then discovered that Florida wasn't all they thought it was going to be. So Florida is certainly the fastest growing area in the country right now. More people moving to Florida than any other part of the country, but Florida is still a large percentage of people that we have moving to North Carolina. North Carolina just seems to be like the perfect climate for that. They're tired of the insurance and the hurricanes and the heat and the traffic and the tourism, and North Carolina seems to be a mild climate. We don't have all the snow that they once had. And
you still have the 4 seasons, but they're not extreme.
Exactly, right. And everybody talks about 3 hours to the coast, 3 hours to the mountains. So I mean, we're really, really lucky here.
So is that one of the things that's driving the growth in this area, the fact that you've got that proximity where you can get to the coast?
Really what is driving growth to the area, and this is a first for Chatham County now, are jobs. I mean, these are really good. I mean, these are good, paying, educated, excellent jobs. And so, still don't know what's going on with VinFast and how that's proceeding.
Don't ask me what we're not going to go in there.
I won't go into that, but I'll tell you this, Toyota is the real deal, and that's having an impact on the area, and that's even having an impact on Chatham County.
Where's Toyota going?
Toyota is in just outside of Liberty, between Liberty and Greensboro, Pleasant Garden. Right. And I just interviewed for a home outside of Toyota, and it's going to be north of $2 million. So I mean, that's crazy. But so we have Toyota off of 421, and then anybody. I encourage people to drive down 64
by
Wolfspeed just to look at the immensity of that project and how many pickup cars there are working and everything. And we're already having an impact. Our rentals, we don't have any vacancy, and the Wolfspeed employees have already been a big part of the rental market. We're getting a few home sales from them as well, but those are good paying jobs.
Yeah, Wolfspeed's been aggressive in their building schedule. I think they did a presentation to the. I went to a presentation, and they're moving at a break whatever. They're moving along quickly.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, if you go by there, it's like holy cow.
Well, what's surprising to me is that the number of people that are working at Wolfspeed that aren't moving to Siler City, because there's not a new construction product available in Siler City. I sold a large tract of land that a developer bought and had an agreement with D.R. Horton, but they can't build the houses until we've fixed the sewer situation in Siler City. So here we are, it's 2024 and we're still have the same issues that they had 100 years ago. It's all about water and sewer, and that lack of capacity is really putting a stranglehold on Siler City and Pittsboro. Pittsboro probably has it figured out. Siler City's going to have it figured out, but it's going to take some time for both of them to catch up.
Right. I'm supposed to sit down and have a video conversation with the town manager here in Pittsboro. So we were hoping to do it today, but couldn't work it out arrangement wise. But yeah, that's the interesting.
I just met him for my first time last week.
Nice,
yep.
Yeah, nice guy. I got to meet him at the Cora grand opening of the new facility. Okay, so we're talking about folks moving in. Their sticker shock is, oh my gosh, I can get a whole lot more house for a whole lot less money. Either bank it or actually maybe buy a second house.
The size of the lot is shocking to them.
Right.
The size of the lot is shocking to our second move people, which are the Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Apex, Chapel Hill. You know, we're a lot of the time we're a second move. People move there and then decide that they want to be more in the country or have a bigger lot. So, you know, I always tell people a 2x4 costs the same in Chatham as it does Wake, right? But what do we have more of is land, and so we get real spoiled here where, you know, a lot of us think a 1 or 2 acre lot is small, but that's 10 times the size of a Cary lot. Right. And so they're thinking they can't believe how much.
Yeah, this was a long time ago, but I remember when we were looking at houses, my wife and I think there was literally one neighborhood we checked where if you went into your bathroom, you could reach out of your bathroom window and touch the bathroom window of the house next door. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Yeah. So yes, we do get spoiled. So we talked about those folks moving in. And we talked about this several months ago. You were at Northwood coaching there for a little bit, and you had students over there, and now those students have grown up and are moving back or trying to move back into the county. What's the story for those folks?
It's a sad story. I actually had a student. I missed him. He came in to visit me the other day, but it's one of my favorite things. And the other shocking thing is I forget how old they are and how old I was. So, you know, the person that my former student football player that came to visit me this week, I'm like, oh, I hadn't seen that kid in a long time. That kid's 46 years old. I mean, that's not a kid, 46 years old. That is a grown man or whatever. But it's just, you know, I was in my mid-20s when I started coaching there, and I really wasn't a whole lot older than they were at the time, but you didn't think of it that way. And yeah, they always wanted to get the heck out of Pittsboro. This place is not so great. We want to get out of here. This place is boring. It's too slow, da da da. And now I get calls all the time. Coach Andrews, what can I do to, you know, can you find me can you find me a lot for $30,000? Can you find me? No, I can't. No, I can't find you a lot for $30,000. It doesn't exist. Sometimes they're lucky enough that there's some family land that they can cut off and do something. But yeah, a lot of people that want to move to the area, they're having to look at like Sanford or outside of Sanford, Carthage, or whatever. You know, things are still cheaper south and west of here. Pittsboro and north and east of Pittsboro is really, really close to Chapel Hill Cary prices now.
You mentioned a lot, and I think before we started this recording, you mentioned you had gone out and looked at a 2 acre lot. And I took a guess at it that 2 acres would have been about $100K, and you said no, it's what?
300K.
300K.
But you know, this is a little bit special. I mean, if we usually give things about a 30% bump if they adjoin Jordan Lake or Army Corps land. You know, I mean, the beauty of that is you're never going to have any neighbors, so that's a premium. You have to be hyper aware of where you are at Jordan Lake because you could have some hunters behind you all the time.
Right.
But overall, you know, to not have another subdivision or a development behind you, and to have, you know, access to thousands and thousands of acres like that we usually give that about a 30% premium.
All right. So going back to your former student who came and see you, Mr. Andrews, what can you get me a lot for? And the thing is, since it's not water and sewer there, you're gonna have to put in a well and septic. Correct. So there's a minimum size lot that you can put in.
Yeah. So if it has municipal water, your minimum is usually 40,000 square feet, which is just under an acre. An acre is 4350. 43,000. Yeah, 43,560 is an acre. And so we can have a 40,000 square foot minimum if we have some kind of municipal water. If it's on a well, our normal minimum is an acre and a half. But, you know, we have a lot of areas that are R5, which might, you know, they're in a critical watershed. The minimum might be 5 acres. Yeah, I mean, where I was evaluating that 2 acre lot, so that was different. That was 2 acres in the middle. But there's a subdivision within a quarter mile of that, and they have 40,000 square foot lots, so 1 acre lots. And those 1 acre lots are going between 300 and 400,000 for a 1 acre lot.
So that's right there, just for the land that's out of that.
You're going to be at a $2 million build. You're
Right.
going to be a $2 million house, and you know what? It's a beautiful neighborhood, and it's a great area, and it's right there at Jordan Lake. And so, but it's sticker shock to me that there's a neighborhood of 1.5 to $3 million homes.
And that's becoming more of the norm, isn't it?
It's the new construction's getting up there. The new construction's getting up there, and we need that workforce housing is going to be a consideration. We're going to need people working here, and we can't have them driving a half hour or an hour to get here. That doesn't work. So I'm really into like different values in neighborhoods. I think that's a good thing for everybody, and definitely more workforce housing. But it's not the developer's fault. And one of the unintended consequences is you were at the UDO meeting the other day, and there are people that have really, really good intentions, and they want to preserve the rural integrity of Chatham County. They want this place to continue to be a nice, beautiful area or whatever, but some of these protections increase the cost. And so, if we say, all right, this neighborhood is a minimum of 3 acres now, well, that's great, but we're not putting affordable housing on a 3 acre lot. I mean, that's not happening. And I'm an anti-sprawl guy. I think that growth should be concentrated in the towns and the cities. So, more Pittsboro and more in Siler City. And so for that reason, the UDO is probably pretty good, because it's going to be more expensive to develop the county. So there would be more pressure on Pittsboro and Siler City to do some of that infill. But it's not going to get cheaper in Chatham County in the near future.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to touch on UDO, but since you bring it up, yeah, I was at that UDO meeting, and the interesting thing about it is, while I was there, I videoed it, so there's videos on our Chatham Journal YouTube channel, but I also posted pictures of some of the slides that popped up, and usually when I posted, I had a question to it, because there were certain things as to shrubbery, parking lots, solar canopies, all sorts of other things, and I know you and I briefly talked about it. What's the good and bad of the UDO? And again, if you feel uncomfortable about talking about it, because one of the other comments someone made...
I've been vocal about it, and I think that I've made my opinions known. I'm of the Western Chatham district, and so we have much different issues than they would have in the northeastern part of the county. And so there's a balance there. I know people are very passionate about trees, and but I live in an area where trees are a crop, so I mean, you have a different relationship with trees.
Yeah, it just takes 50 to 75 years to grow your crop versus one regular season.
Right. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be protective and everything, but I think there's a balance. I mean, trees don't live forever. They have,
Wait a minute, did you just say trees don't live forever?
Well, I'm not making light of
no, you're not.
I know they're very, very passionate about it, and I think that it's good, but we have to have a balance. And if the developer is expected to either save these trees or plant trees of a certain age, and then they have to maintain them or irrigate them and everything, these are things that cost a lot of money. Now, yes, it makes the whole area look better. I'm not denying that. And Chatham County is a beautiful place, and we should preserve it at all costs. But again, it's that balance of, we don't want to price people out of the area, So our planning department is awesome. The planning board is great. I don't have any problems with anything, but it's one of the things that we must be aware of is that when we put our thumb on the scale over here, it has implications and affects the other side. So it's not easy. It's not easy.